What? No, bro. That's not at all what I said to her. And that's fucking insulting as fuck. Just have to see how it looks. What's up, fellas? Yeah. What's up, fellas? It's your boy. You want this shit to be like this system? You want this shit to be seamless, like Todd the fucking Android? Todd the fucking perfect fucking Android? Fucking had this done with his MacBook fucking Pro? Or fucking Owen from RST had all their fucking millions of fucking dollars at some other fucking motherfucker? Or you want the real? You want the real fucking shit? Not to say those guys aren't very real, but you want the AMS? I'm gonna shoot this in fucking portrait. Listen, we give you guys a lot of different ways to get game and to get where you need to be, to get what you want, and to give her what she wants out of you. And there's so much fucking confusion out there in the world that most of us wind up spending most of our lives poison tripping, putt shaming, getting poison tripping, getting putt shamed. Maybe if you're a hard case, you get people projecting your predator all the fucking time. You get people from the fucking DMV see your fucking shuttle and have a peace officer go to your fucking mom and fucking try and make up, I don't know, some lies about what you were saying to somebody who was trying to fucking take, you have fucking shit happen. But the important thing is you stay in a masculine frame and an abundance mindset. You know what I mean? You stay in a masculine frame. You stay in a fucking abundance mindset and good things happen, And just understand, game is like getting a fucking PhD. You're not going to read some fucking video on how to fuck French girls and all of a sudden know how to fuck French girls and pull them tonight, bro. If you talk about like that movie Hitch and you talk about the scenes where the main characters meet their fucking love interest in the movie, So in one scene, what you had there was, I can remember this, you had, I think it was, Hitch is like reading a newspaper cop or something, right? And she's drinking Grey Goose martini or whatever. So Hitch is like fucking, he's getting some reconnaissance, some background information. He's going to the same bar that he obviously goes to on a regular basis. He knows the bartender, it's his home. This is very, very useful in the game. The more you know the bar staff, the more you're so. Let's go over and let's watch. I'm talking, what's her name? You're gonna go walk and do an approach, and then some other guy goes in to talk to the girl, right? So it's always an interesting decision. On the one hand, you don't want him to do the job and you're frozen out of the interaction for half an hour. But on the other hand, you don't want to go in right afterward and be so like you might be perceived as friends, and the last thing you want to be is nice to a weirdo guy who's doing that pick up and living all the guy. So what Hitch does is he waits and sees how it develops, which is probably not that situation. And so some guys like, I knew she lost his roses because they gave me an apple martini, and I couldn't help but know she looked a lot like the girlfriend. So first off, credit to that guy for having the balls to approach, trying to do it in a gentlemanly way. The whole buying a girl at the bank is a little overdone, it's a little overplayed. It's not my favorite way to go, for sure. But whatever, he's trying. But here, using the cheesy pickup line, it's just so obvious that, like, he teed up this cheesy pickup line and something he planned. That's why I love to not have anything fucking planned when I go up with a cold approach. Unless I'm in a rut and I just need to fucking, back in my pre-advanced game, and sometimes even when you have advanced game, you'll go back into fucking shitville and you'll be blown out for a long time, and then maybe you do give yourself. But what I really like to do is just go in there with nothing on my fucking mind. And she goes, what's your name? And he goes, Charming Chip. And he goes, you can't get him to stop. And she gives you that shit test. Apparently she saw him as enough to give him a shit test. So she gave him a shit test. And that was an opportunity to prove that you're a real deal. So as much as they're frustrating, you guys get stifled by you guys have trouble with it, but it actually is an opportunity. So it maybe is this dude's one opportunity to step out, not care, have a clever response, and handle the pressure well, and the winner over. Now, somebody gave me a shit test, San Francisco King Collective, and I fucking passed it so beautifully by fucking getting banned from every event ever. I'm gonna hold. And you know what? I'll tell you, it's a very advanced game, and I don't recommend any of you try it until you've got a PhD in game. And then I don't remember his reaction, but she says, "I understand what the courage it takes to fuck walk across them, walk across the room out of thin air. Maybe I understand this and don't take this personally." I don't remember in that movie, how did he pass the shit test? Did they even give him a chance? Or no, you really don't understand the courage. If a girl is unsure of her attraction to you or has her doubts, she'll give you a shit test. And what that could be is an opportunity to prove that you're really the deal. So as much as you might get stifled by them or, whatever, you might have your one chance to step out and not care and have a clever response and handle the pressure well and to win a girl over. I don't remember how my man handled it, Anyway, I don't remember how he really, if they really gave him much of a chance to let him fucking handle that shit, All right. You do 100 push-ups in 3 sets of 45-second leg lifts. Excuse me, little girl. Excuse me, little baby. Baby gotta keep chasing daddy's validation, huh? Baby girl. You know I'm a reach for you, don't you? You know you're lucky to be with me, and I'm not putting you on a pedestal. Yes, you're going to chase daddy's validation, and whenever I pay attention to you, you don't want to curl up with me. But if I ignore you all fucking day, who's there barking on the floor saying, "Daddy, pick me up and put me..." You are. And buy you a drink. one of the things you least want to do. For Daddy's second term. The second term. Good night. I got it. Daddy. Feel like a natural woman? Certainly. How was the count? I've done this before. I've done this all the time. All right, good job on those sit-ups and push-ups, guys. It's fucking great. Really proud of you. Okay? You keep doing good, and I'll give you some validation. And so Chip and Hitch gets blown out, but he doesn't exactly pass the shit test. He just goes, haha, that's funny. He doesn't fail it either, though. But then Ava Mendez, or whatever her name is, she goes into, she kind of blows, she decides she's blowing him out. He didn't pass it good enough, right? And she hit him. That shit test was pretty insulting, honestly. It was kind of a rejection. So abundance dude maybe wouldn't it be persistent, maybe just be like, yeah, I'm not even gonna try to pass your shit test, and then she'd probably be attracted to him. You know, depending on how severe the shit test is, sometimes you shouldn't even try to pass it. You know, any attempt to pass it is just a fucking Hail Mary, and like the only play that will work is just don't try to pass it. You know. And so she blows him off, says, I'm just not interested. And he displays persistence, which can be attractive, but he goes into, so do you like Cuban food? So it's unattractive how I missed the signals. And it is just not socially calibrated how he goes. So if you've actually done a good approach with her, feel free to be persistent. But if you haven't done a good approach, take the L, charge it to the game, and that's the only way you turn it into a W, because you have the balls to go and talk to her. So then Ava Mendes is like, that's not code for while, you just try her. Then the guy makes a huge mistake that guys make a lot of times. When they're getting blown out and rejected hard by a chick, especially one in a bitchy way, they take it personal and they start to logically lawyer their way out of it. Here's the thing, even if you win that fucking argument, that she's being weird or mean or a bitch, yeah, you won the argument, you exposed the flaws in her personality and blah, blah, blah. But you not only lost that girl, you have a sunk opportunity cost, because there is a girl here who won't blow you out so hard, who wanted you to be balls deep in her tonight. And so don't let her poison drip you into a bad interaction. Okay. Say bye to Joy Behar and Chasey Handler. And he goes, are you always this shut down and afraid and blah, blah, blah. And that's where Will Smith comes in and does something that I've done a lot of times. The guy says, if you do with me, I'll make you feel like a natural. Smith comes in and saves her with like a natural woman. And then he pretends he's her boyfriend, even though they don't fucking know her. And he gives this construct of it, pretending like they're in a relationship. He goes, hi, honey, sorry I'm late, blah, blah, blah. So girls often appreciate this because it saves them, especially if you do it in a way that's socially calibrated and shows emotional intelligence, which is a display of value in its own right. So that can often be a great way to come in a way that will be of value and showing that you are the right type of man. Now, are you being a cock blocker? I would say never do this if the guy's set looks like it might go anywhere. And then something about a beginning, a middle, and an end. Nice to meet you, Chip. And Chip goes off, and then that's where Hitch starts to spit game. Now, on the one hand, it's very difficult for a man to even speak to someone that looks like you. But on the other hand, should that be your problem? And Ava Mendes playing the badass minority chick, so life's kind of hard all around, which is not saying your name sucks. And Hitch is like, not if you pay attention. He points out that she's sitting in all these signals, reading glasses with no book. She's got her hair done up, drinking a martini and all this stuff. And then she had to fuck off. I don't know really what he was doing. At first I thought he was like, yeah, you're all done up and shit. You can't blame the guy for thinking you're alone at the bar. You can't blame the guy for coming up and fucking talking to you. But I think what was really happening was pointing out all these reasons why she's not sitting out the fucking signals that she wants to be hit on. It says you're sitting all the right signals, no earrings, heels under 2 inches, her hair is pulled fucking back, she's reading glasses with no book, drinking a Grey Goose martini, meaning she had a hell of a week and a beer just wouldn't do it. And if that isn't enough, there's always the fuck off she has stamped on his forehead. Now he just sits down, which is the display of value because he just assumes she's down to talk rather than asking. Never ask a bitch if you could sit down. Never ask a bitch for any permission to do anything that's not like a sexual act. And even then, you should have built that shit into enthusiastic consent and her actually trying to get you into bed so that you're never in a position where you even need to ask a woman to do anything. He's making it seem like he's not hitting on her possibly because he's digging a deeper hole for himself actually, because if he tries to make a connection and show the girl that he is interested, he's made it harder because he's ported out all these ideas that she doesn't want to be talked to, and that's an incongruence, you know, because he'd be paying himself into Chip's corner, you know, and so this is good value of society of who's chasing you who, and there's this massive congruence problem that if you've been so against a guy walking over to meet a girl, how are you then going to flip the script and actually meet the girl? So you have to be very careful of not going too far with this sort of dialogue in this frame. It's interesting. And then he does some white knight shit about who's going to believe that there's a man out there who would actually be genuinely interested to sit down on a woman he doesn't know and be interested in who she is and what she's about without some agenda. And then Eva Mendes is like, I wouldn't even know what that looked like. What would a guy like that look like? What would a guy like that say? And that is, in a way, a shit test of its own. This bitch just serves up shit tests all day long, like every bitch ever. But so they're talking about this theoretical hypothetical scenario, which is something I love. And a lot of guys tell you don't interject the idea of pickup, but I love using the I'm a dating coach thing to interject. So the bitch might even know, is this business, is it work? And it kind of helps not look needy, you know? It might kill the vibe for some of the women, and some of the women might not want to fuck with somebody who actually is a pro of this shit. But do I want to be with those women? No, I like being with confident women. So it's a shit test where she's like, well, what would a guy like that say if he was to talk to me? And so the congruence problem continues because he's framed it as this guy who has an agenda and doesn't want anything from her. And now it's like they're teed up for the 30-minute conversation fucking nowhere, you know, which can potentially lower his value because it makes him look like he's a fucking ballless fucking pussy who's afraid to fucking put his dick on the table and say, I'm ready to dick you down. But, you know, the soft clothes first. Don't just grab them by the pussy. Make sure they've communicated to you that you're a star and they'll let you, and then you go by the pussy. Mr. Trump, are you aware that that is sexual assault? Actually, Anderson Cooper, I've been in the game for years. It's made me an animal, and still, I follow the 10 crack commandments of being a player, and that's why I get her chasing daddy's validation, so that by the time we finally do have sex, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to have sex with this huge star. I'm so glad he grabbed me by the pussy. I didn't even think it was a possibility. Yay for me. I'm playing outside my league. Can't wait to tell all my girlfriends about this. And so now Will Smith's character is in a double line because he could play it like he's not interested, or he could show that he's interested and he'll show the incongruence of what he did before by hitting on a woman like Chip, who's obviously not sitting out the choosing situation. The way I would typically deal with the shit test like this subtle one, because obviously women will give you a hard fucking shit test and it just ain't no fucking way. They don't need 3 seconds to know they ain't gonna fuck you. A lot of minority women will not fucking like you unless he's just off the charts and fucking hot. And then they'll fucking come over and suck his dick that night. And I had a girl here who's very big in the fucking SF kink scene who, let's just say, if she thought I was this one guy on Tinder who's, you know, a perfect 10, she would suck his dick all night long and call him daddy. But if you show that if she got or saw or sent her a picture in advance, or maybe you do the fucking surprising person at a public place thing, never do that. Then shelter. It's like seeing the dream fucking die. It's like seeing a little kid who grew up and played basketball and he fucking became his high school's all-time leading scorer and then bailed came to his fucking house because he didn't get, like Jeremy Lin, he didn't get fucking anywhere near the attention he deserved from recruiters. And then the FCC just saying, and the jury comes and breaks the spirit. And that's what happened to this one. I don't know if Asian's even a minority, but anyway, how would I pass this shit test from Ava Mendez, assuming I'd fucking want to fuck with her because she seems like she's a salt mine. But anyway, that is satisfying to turn those salt mines and have them just fucking deep throwing you out of your coffee out of your mouth for hours at a time. That is satisfying. There is a little bit of that to it, but and that's why I went through my coming on triggered snowflakes basis phase. But I'm over that. But how would I pass this shit test? What would a guy say who's blah blah blah, who's actually interested? There's one thing of just saying, you know what? It's not, well, first off, it's not a hard shit test. It's not like a fuck you, your name's Chip, you're a loser shit test, like she did with the other guy. So, some possibilities. One, you might say, well, fuck it, ask her. It hit. Actually, I didn't think this was very good at this at a point because you want to be an alpha and a leader. But I would maybe pass it by just putting that shit back on her and saying, in a sense, subtly, hey, bitch, it's time to chase daddy's validation. Hello, how would you pass it? What would you say? What kind of fucking, and then just put her in the position where she's in your position and she's now trying to fucking make a connection with you. You're the guy who just fucking bailed her out and got chipped the fuck away from her and gave her a fucking vibe. Now you could just kick it with these 2 drinks and just vibe with her without even trying to fucking set a frame. But you don't want to, I would do a subtly interject the idea of attraction and pursuit into there, but maybe do it in a way that sets it up like you're pursuing me. What would you say to me? Her question is basically, what would a guy who wanted to come up and just talk to a woman without any fucking agenda say? So that's a possible thing. But then there's a congruence problem there if you want her to fucking chase your validation, because then you're putting her in a position of trying to say something to you that shows she's not interested in you, but just genuine, in a sexual way with some agenda, quote unquote, but just, I don't know, wants to prove that she's that white knight, male, female, that's just interested in fucking getting you know, motherfucker. That's one. I'd have to think that one out a little bit longer, but obviously you don't have much time to fucking think in these situations. So you want to just fall back on the fun scrambles out of the strategy stuff. Okay, so but another possibility of what to do with that fucking thing, that situation, what would a guy like that say? What would somebody who didn't have a fucking agenda, and I might just fucking kick that shit out the water and be like, look, bitch, I'm not trying to sit here and prove like I don't have an agenda. You know what I mean? And then just kind of subtly let it know, look, I came over here with these drinks. Obviously, you're not a fucking idiot. You know why I came over. But what remains to be just how needy I am or am not, just how high value I am or not, and just what shade of fucking attraction I have. Maybe it's just I had 10 fucking minutes to kill and I want to spit some game on a fucking 6 to warm up from the main event tonight. And guess who's the 6, baby? That's you. So maybe put it in that thing. But I wouldn't want to try to fucking give her what she wants, because obviously when you give women what they want, that dries a pussy up quicker than anything, because you're not a reach. You're a guy who's lucky to fucking be getting consistent sex with her at a beta male provider relationship. So I wouldn't try and give the bitch what she wants, which is theoretically, what would a guy who's just interested in talking to a woman, getting to know her with no agenda, what would he say? I'd be like, I'd say something like, I've done that before, but that's not what I'm doing. Um, I'd have to get back to you on that as something, and then you'd have to, because you said that's what I'm not doing now. You'd have to quickly interject the idea of you're not that attracted to it. You don't know it yet. So you might just boil it down to something like, "That's not what I'm doing now. I'm more interested in finding out if you're more than just someone who's attractive enough." I like those terms, enough. I wouldn't say who's more than just a pretty face. I'd say who's more than just someone who's attractive enough to get me to come over here and ask your name. And then I ask her name, and then I'd see if she asked my name back quarterly and stuff. So that's another one. There's other possibilities. Let me think of some. But then that sets up that congruence problem of you already said Chip was a fucking dildo for fucking hitting on her when she's wearing no heels and blah 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 blah. Now is that a big so? Maybe a way to play it that'll avoid that congruence problem. And maybe you can just say, "Hey, fuck it, I'm going to charge it to the game because of this congruence problem, and I'm such a fucking abundance mindset that I'm not going to worry about fucking trying to frame this shit sexually here." And just let that bitch breathe for a while. That might be how I do it, you know? You have to be careful about going into some other shit to try to establish value and look and try hard. And one option is just to let it be a boring fucking conversation, right? A conversation anywhere type shit. Another option, and I like to avoid this, is having a conversation about pickup and game and approaches. Another option is just see what the fuck she does. Just punt, bitch. And punt, but not in a way that's totally dismissive of the question. Just say, well, like that's a value thing. Demonstrate value that way. You're just gonna punt, say something like, I'm sure that there's got to be a ton of good things a guy who's doing that could say, but don't specify any of them. You know, because you're not a fucking dancing monkey, and you're not trying to come up with the smoothest motherfucking thing a guy who's just trying to deal with no woman with no agenda would say. You're just like, there's things you would say, whatever. And then just punt and let that bitch breathe and let that bitch's attraction build and get her walking towards building an attachment and chasing daddy's validation. What she says, what would that look like? A guy who doesn't have an agenda, doesn't want anything from me. What would he say? So now Will Smith's character is in like a double bind. He could keep playing it like he ain't interested, or he could show the incongruence of what he did before. So it's a pretty incongruent shit test. I know the way I would typically deal with this fucking shit test is I would pass it, making fun of the whole scenario. But that said, I would leave some scenario open, some sort of way to actually have a man-woman interaction. You know, basically man-woman interaction. So if someone asked me, for example, what's your pickup line that you say to girls, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I'm pretty standard. But she didn't ask you what your pickup line is. You said, girl, she asked you what's your pickup line. The way I typically deal with that shit test is I'd pass it. I'd make fun of the whole scenario of, I guess, guys, you know, just... you can kind of put, just make fun of the scenario of a guy coming up to a woman with no agenda, but don't say anything negative about human nature, you know, but somehow leave it open, you know. just punt. You're not trying to really fucking prove how fucking clever you are. So basically just say, I don't know a game, I don't have anything special. But continue it in your manner, friendly, non-try-hard manner, and then having faith in yourself with your abundance mindset that you have enough game behind that in the time that you bought. But instead, what Will Smith's character does is he says, my name is Alex Hitchens and I'm a consultant. But she wouldn't even respond to that because she's probably just you could say, well, what Will Smith's character winds up doing is even Todd D basically punted on this motherfucker because he answered the question that's the opposite. What would you say to a girl if you were trying to hit on her? Because the real question was what would you say to a girl if you weren't trying to, so he basically punted in an abundance thing. He said, I don't know, but I'd buy myself a window continuing their interaction and non-try-hard frame and have faith in my game. And what Will Smith says is, my name is Alex Hitchens and I'm a consultant. Will Smith says, well, what he would say is, my name is Alex Smith and I'm a consultant. And then he comes up, but she wouldn't be interested in that because she'd probably just be counting the seconds until the motherfucker left. And then she finishes the sentence thinking he was like every other fucking dildo trying to get balls deep. And then Will Smith continuing his sentence, saying, which life experiences taught her is a virtual certainty. All men are the same. But then the congruence problem, let's see how he handles it, because he goes, but then he'd ask her name and what she does for a living. And she might blow him off. Or she might say, so they're kind of just fucking punting on the own congruence problem themselves here, really. But she might say, and he leaves a silent pause for her to start chasing daddy's validation and fucking prove that she deserves that cock. And that's exactly what Eva Mendes starts doing because it's fucking Will Smith. And he's handled it with enough elan so far to merit that reaction. And she goes, I'm such and such. I'm a gossip columnist. Okay, so motherfuckers, you're going to do 100 push-ups, right? And then you're going to do 3 sets of fucking leg lifts, 45 seconds each. And I'm going to go dick down this 19-year-old girl who fucking needs daddy's medicine. And I don't even want to do it, but she's really hot, too. And the thing is when you fuck a lot of hot 19-year-old girls, you start to get bored of it, and then you start to develop all these weird fetishes where you just want to fuck kind of I don't know, you fuck like a 50-year-old fucking 4.5 who has like a lot of fucking baggage and whose SRO stinks like cigarettes because you just like the variety. But the thing is that to stay drought free and maintain an abundance mindset, sometimes you just got to charge the game, just take one for the team and go dick down some incredibly gorgeous 19-year-old girl so she doesn't, it's basically feeding her crumbs. I'm going to go feed her some dick crumbs. Okay. Because it'll help me keep that capital and be able to continue to just pursue my weird fetishes however I fucking. And no, I can always fall back on a fucking stable of disposable, beautiful 19-year-old hoes. just know that. Just fucking know that you can do that.
Turn left onto Mission Street.
Nah. What happened? What happened there? All you can do is get covered and fucking hit the road and fuck on. Fuck on. You ditch digging from the fucking with the women's good graces. Like, I wish I hadn't, but I didn't have another fucking vehicle at my disposal. That's a terrible You tell me some stupid fucking shit all the time. So that's a dumb argument. All right. I gave you a break there. I gave you a fucking break there. And you're lucky. You're lucky. But so you really, if you really advanced, you should have done more than 100 push-ups. And you should have done fucking more than 100 push-ups. And you see how daddy fucking, you know how excited you are to see me now? It just made you wait all that time. Now, what you should have done is you should have done 2 sets of 100 push-ups and 6 sets of 45-second leg lifts. So Will Smith gets his shit test. All right. So to pick up this analysis of Hitch, right? And Todd V has some great thoughts on this as well. Okay. And so Will Smith says, well, he's saying my name is Alex, whatever. Well, I'm a consultant, but she wouldn't be interested in that because she'd probably just be counting the seconds that she left. She finishes the sentence saying, thinking he was like every other guy. And he finishes her saying, which life experience is taught as a virtual certainty. And then he goes, but then she'd ask her name and what she did for a living. Or she might blow him off. Or she might say, and that shows confidence because he's basically telling her, look, bitch, I know you're going to chase my validation and not blow me off. And so she says in a submissive little wet pussy voice, I'm Sarah Mealis and I run the gossip column at the Standard, Daddy. And I just let me sit on your lap. Talk like I have a dick in my mouth to be pretty posed like Dr. Blasey Ford. Dr. Blasey Ford got Trump so hard, you could tell he wanted to fuck him for 2 days until he finally fucking... He did a flip-flop. It's classic Trump. She could have been like, no, sorry, fuck off. I'm not talking to you. What Will Smith's character did was charming and polite. He didn't give her any strong reason not to felicitate. And so as much as she's like, I'd like to keep my bitch frame and be difficult, this is what you want to do. You want to put bitches in a situation where they give them no social excuse to be a fucking bitch for them and give them no choice but to be friendly. And so he got social compliance. If you have good personality behind it, that's how to get people talking shit. So interaction's going good. And then Ava goes, and then she'd ask all these penetrating questions about it because he was seriously and typically interested. And so she's saying, wait, but it's not soon enough. An attachment hasn't been built. So I want to throw this back onto you and get you back to chasing me. So she goes, and then he'd ask all these penetrating questions, still trying to maintain this facade if he doesn't have an agenda. And the Will Smith character says, no. So she's basically gave him another shit test there, pointing out that would be very typical and predictable. He'd be right back in that frame of the typical guy that he's trying not to be. But now he says no. He's doing what we call disqualifying. It's one of the most powerful moves you have in game. Disqualifying, showing that you're kind of actually fucking disinterested and you're not really bought in. And she goes, no. And he goes, he'd be interested, which sets frame. But then he disqualifies me, saying there's no way he could possibly make her realize that he's for real. And then she says, well, you could be charming, funny, showing your flesh and the original. And he disqualifies the kid and says, wouldn't help. And then she goes, don't you hate it when it happens? Because she just fucking wants him to fucking chase so bad. And he goes, not really. And he basically says, I got such a fucking abundance mindset and I'm not butthurt. It's all good. It's all good, babe. Instead of disqualifying from a low value frame, he disqualifies from a high value frame. You see the shock on her face, Hollywood style, saying, "Oh shit, I wasn't expecting that." And Will Smith says they both probably go on to lead the lives they were headed towards. My guess is they do just fine. And then she flirts by taking her glasses. And he goes, "Pleasure to have met you, Sarah Milas." And she, of course, looks at his ass while he walks away. Pussy dripping mildly, probably. And she's shocked that he's left. She's a bit creamy. She's a bit creamy on the creamometer. But this looks like a splashy move. It's Hollywood. And this is the phenomenon you see over and over in game, is that there's good theoretical game and flashy Hollywood style shit and good for marketing. And then there's what's good in practice. As far as this is a perfect move in Hollywood high value thing. But the problem is in real life, this is the nucleus solution. You can always win the who cares less battle by walking away, but if you do that, the interaction's over. And the only way it will continue is if you force a woman to pursue you. And there hasn't been enough of an attachment created here. Even if there has, she's going to feel like a slut being like an attachment 2 seconds after talking to this motherfucker. And they don't want to try. See, girls have enormous egos and no balls. They literally have no balls. So you're asking her to have balls and come approach you. So in terms of practice, asking her to approach you doesn't actually fucking work. The only way to continue it would be to go back. It would look even needier than not walking away in the first place. The only solution from here is to make it appear as though in an accident that you are going to run into it again. Anything else, or truly accidentally run into it again, because bitches love face. Bitches love fate. Anything else, it looks try hard. From Hollywood script, this is cool, but in the real world, this is very impractical. I would never do this here. After I have conveyed my personality and she's liking me, I would stand there and try and do something with it, even if it is slightly needy. What I would trust is that I'm cool enough and I am good enough and there's enough value behind me that even if I'm in a slightly needy place, my sort of charisma and charm and the things I fucking do, if I spend enough time with her, she's going to see that I actually win her over. And that's the fundamental thing you're going to do in pickup in general, because the very fact of approaching is actually a little needy, but it's only a little fucking needy. And if you're amazing after the approach, you overwhelm it with how amazing you are after the fact. So the washing away is splashy. It looks great, but I'm not really that sure about it. Also, I should point out two other things that happens after this is he sends over a drink sent over from him. I don't know what he did with the 2 drinks he got in the first place. I think he walked over there with 2 drinks. And I don't know what the reason. He walked away with fucking no drinks in his hand. But it definitely does make her think of him more. I don't know what the reasoning is for having him send over a drink, but that looks kind of creepy and try hard and low value. But the other thing that has nothing to do with him is that right at the end of the scene, her friend shows up. She's actually thinking about pursuing him. And that's very important for real world pickup. It's very unusual to just find a girl like this by herself in a bar. When you do see that, you've got to expect that her friend's about to show up momentarily. And so be ready to find out who the friend is, get the friend on your side, and find out how to play it, because that's totally necessary. Because what will happen otherwise, the friend will come in and it'll be totally fucking awkward, because the friend wants all her attention. They want their big girl squealing in orgiastic glee that they're reconnecting. So in that previous scene, there was a drama point. He met the girl and kind of built some attraction, but he did the nuclear move and left. That's Hollywood, because they needed to inject fucking fate. Now, the only way he's gonna see her again is by accident or be a creep and fucking track her down on Facebook. You know? He goes opposite. This is gonna figure it out opposite. If you do have a crush on her, it's cool. If she goes to your school or it's in your building or something, this idea of not having to worry about the next fucking building. However, he doesn't know. He doesn't have a non-contrived way to meet her. And so this is relying on fate, because it's a movie for bitches. Okay. And so he resolves this by making this grand gesture, which is typical blue pill cock shit, which we're all supposed to see romantic, and we do, or eating popcorn in a fucking movie theater, but in real life you'll get fired and blown out if you do fucking shit like this. So Evan Mendes is at work, and somebody comes up and interrupts her while she's on the phone, saying, "I need your signature because some shit's being delivered." And it's this grand gesture fucking thing where he's got a walkie-talkie for her. And he somehow, well, she did tell him where she worked. Okay. And that's the only way he's actually going to get her on the phone. And then Will Smith says on the walkie-talkie, "I hate it when a guy calls a girl who did not give her his number. So this is me calling over." And she goes, "Yes, this is right. This is much less invasive," because she can tell who it is because Will Smith's thing. And he goes, "Listen, I've been thinking about that sign. Don't hit on me on your forehead. And I was wondering if you could take it down Friday night for dinner." So he gives a specific fucking date to do shit, which Corey Wayne says is power, but to me, I don't think it is, because white bitch wants to admit she's free Friday night, and then you're setting yourself up to she's going to offer you a Sunday or a Saturday, and then you got to prove your whole fucking weekend is empty. In order for him to have delivered this phone to her, he has to have essentially fucking stalked her. Okay. In the real world, he has to have essentially Google searched her, figure out this stuff, who she is, where she is, and all this kinds of stuff. So having met a random guy in the bar and then having this shit show up on your doorstep is actually quite fucking creepy. I know guys who have gotten fired for even fucking messaging a chick on LinkedIn that they fucking met somehow related to work. Okay. Also, the way this shit is going to play out, the social proof of everybody starts thinking that this guy's so thinking. In reality, what would probably happen is this shit would wear the bitch out, send her into a white fight, and there'd be a lot of social shame and judgment. So I don't really like to buy this fucking scene. It's a typical Will Smith movie. And the fact that they need this contrived scene, at least it wasn't fake. I was thinking they probably was going to do some fake shit. I really like this. In game, you want to trust that anything that happens in your presence, you have control over, and you can work in your fucking favor. Anything that happens in your absence usually doesn't go as well. However, there is an element to the scene that I find kind of good, and that's the fact that he got her on a phone or a walkie-talkie or fucking whatever. And so many times in modern day, girls text so much because they're juggling so many fucking dicks. And they don't get on the phone very often because they can juggle more dicks and attention whore more dudes by texting instead of just talking on the phone. So one of the things, I think it's a power move to call a bitch out and rather than just puss out and send a text. And that's another thing is when you're texting with a bitch, you know she has the phone in her hand, and that's a good time to call. And you know she has the phone in her hand, she knows that you know they have the phone in the hand, so it'd be weird to fucking not answer. And I've had bitches call me, and if you don't answer, it dries that pussy up. If you just texted a bitch and she calls and you don't pick it up, you dry that pussy up. Even though you might think that it shows high value, you might be reduced later to be like, well, I was driving and blah blah blah. So I don't think it works in Hollywood. A lot of great things. The lesson to get the girl on the phone, get an actual conversation with her, it's very, very useful. So I think, and then she does that fucking fake high value bitch and just acts like she doesn't sleep until 4 a.m. because she's busy fucking. And then he does some ridiculous shit and goes like, hey, well, how about Saturday? Because my whole fucking weekend's free. And he's like, the definition of perseverance. And she's like, I have a date. And so she's super busy at work and she has super dates. This is how every bitch presents herself. It's like, oh, you must have just read the rules, right, bitch? Like every other bitch, right? And so then he offers her a fucking Sunday after pointing out his fucking perseverance. Congruence problem. Every bitch I've met in the last 20 years is super busy. She's traveling all the time and she's got a date and blah, 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 and a boyfriend and blah, 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 blah. These bitches fake high value too much. It's just... And so Will Smith's like, do you know what the definition of high value is? It was continuing a course of action without regard to discouragement or previous to how do I get rid of you? And he goes, breakfast Sunday. You can barely call that date with out-of-town. It's like going with out-of-town relatives that you barely want to come over. So he offers a motherfucking lunch fucking date. First off, we don't feed bitches on first dates. Second off, we don't do fucking paid dates unless it's some brunch shit, because brunch is very big here in Frisco and New York. Now, what he's essentially doing is begging and he's shaming her. And this is what I call intermediate game. They essentially beg it's intermediate game. Guys beg in a very clever, charismatic way. Like, oh, fine, I'll sleep with you. Okay, fine, I'll go to the fucking thing. And so these bitches have been faking high value, wind up fucking pity fucking dudes. Real high value bitch. And so guys who are advanced game, yeah, all these motherfuckers are listening in on our conversation. And it's walkie-talkie shit. And he goes, Saturday. And she goes, I have a date. And he goes, and she goes, she shit tests him and an excuse to be obnoxious, continuing in a course of action without regard to the position of greatest failure. Okay, Webster, how do I get rid of you? Breakfast Sunday. And you can barely even call that a date. You do that with out-of-town relatives that you don't even like. Oh. And then she's got to be fucking, he's just fucking, he's basically shaming, begging her for a fucking date. Now he's going further. He's essentially fucking gaming. And I call this shit intermediate game. Because guys who get okay with girls essentially do this. They beg in a very clever and charismatic way. And then the girl decides, okay, fine. I guess I'll sleep with you. Okay, fine. I guess I'll go on a date. Guys who are advanced in game don't do this shit. Instead of advanced begging, what they do is they flip that shit around and they don't come off as needy or try hard. So in this scenario where she's actually rejecting her, he's like, can't do Friday. How about this? But he's saying this in a clever way. It's high and begging. It's in a media game. What he really should be doing is when he gets that first rejection, he should back off, not asking for plans again, and actually flirting and making the conversation and build value and maybe throwing a little comfort. And only once the conversation is soft close on plans, this ask no again is very, very bad. In the real world, this shit do not fucking work. And this is literally what I see with guys who get okay but never advance the game. Could this work? Yes. But is it really, really good game? No. And you're never going to get a Hoover vacuum dick sucking fucking BJ with a bitch you have prepped like this. And so you're going to get a passive aggressive blowjob at best, bro. There's a lot of good charisma. There's some shit being said. He's doing things from an extremely high value way, but from a practical standpoint, there's a lot of motherfucking things that just wouldn't work on a cold approach here. It's good writing for Hollywood in this movie, Hitch, but there's definitely some huge holes in terms of functionality in the real world. And I'll probably break down motherfucking Kevin James's shit. So give me some comments and shit and send me every last fucking dollar you've ever had. Okay, like I don't care if you need an operation. I need that money worse than you. You're in my fucking cult now. And the first rule of being in my cult is don't use your fucking mind and admit you're completely fucking worthless. Okay? Send me all your fucking money. Let's talk about opening. The way you use your fucking tone and shit. The way you fucking do shit, And I'm going to show you a specific type of fucking open and give you some infield hypotheticals and some pros and cons and hypothetical details and all that fucking information you have about opening these hosts. And one thing is a general sort of idea and a principle that's very important with that style of open, okay? So, every single one of these is going to have one very, very common fucking opener that's very effective, and it's going to go into crazy fucking depth on. So, with that said, motherfuckers, the opener I want to start with is on this very first installment of this opening series, and that's the direct fucking open. It's probably the most common one you've seen. It's the most common. It's what you don't know what you're doing. You just feel attracted to a bitch and you tell her. It's the kind of things you fucking up. Just blurt out. There's a lot of positives about this open. There's some positives. Hello, and then compliment. This is some shit Haley Quinn's horrible fucking dating advice would tell you to fucking do. Like when she tells people to send a motherfucking Tinder fucking message saying, are we just gonna text back and forth for weeks and never meet in real life? That's the worst fucking advice ever. So you talk about a situation. No, talk about a situation. You know, one of the most commonly used to open, if you don't know what you're doing, you just feel attracted to a girl and you just want to go tell her that shit. This is the kind of thing you fucking blurt out. You know, you can do like a hello and then compliment. Hello, I thought you were fucking cute. Hello, I love your dress on motherfucker. Hello, I love your dress. Hello, and compliment. So you go up and say, I adore the sunglasses. I don't even know what to say. Uh, and then do a disqualify, be like, oh, I have to go soon. Who are you? I like that. Who are you is better than what your name. And she'll probably say, I'm here today, just roaming around. Now you've seen the shit many times in real life. It's an opening style that I recommend to people starting a game. One of the first shit you'll start out in game is lack of intent, not showing the fucking girl that you're interested in her. The half-hour motherfucking conversation in nowhere. Okay, they leave, and then maybe if it's a student of mine, you can say, does she know you have a penis? And you go, well, maybe. Well, the answer to that motherfucker should be yes. She should know that this is a man-woman interaction, and you're there as a fucking man. And the good thing about giving a compliment at the fucking start, or even saying I want to meet you explicitly at the fucking start, is it helps you along the path to making that shit man to woman. And one big principle in opening is the idea that because you broke that intent barrier, so that's one of the fucking positives. And not a low end level of game, a lot of guys are even scared to show intent. So the very fact that you're ballsy enough to say I like you is like kind of high value. It's so you're not a very high value because low value guys are very fucking hesitant and indirect. And what's the time? Use vagrants openers. Excuse me. I don't mean to take up your time, but may I ask you a question? That at least says you're not a super low value guy. But again, quit playing in the middle because you get fucked. Better just be total. All right, you don't want to get open for beginners. You know. Assuming that a girl likes you, this type of interaction along faster. There's that's moved a lot of beating around the bush styles of game. All right, and if that's the case, and you're using that kind of opener with a girl, that's a lot of fucking time. All right, so when the girl likes you, you want to get to the fucking point. A lot of these bitches have wet dripping pussies, and they get annoyed with you motherfuckers for not getting balls deep as soon as possible. All right, so. Yeah, basically, there's a problem with this opener. You're basically conveying your intent right away, and you're putting it on the spot to make a decision very early on and decide within the first few seconds of the interaction whether she likes you and whether she sees you as a sexual prospect. So, if you come off very well and she sees you a good prospect, you're going to get a no a lot of the time. And even then, if there's flaws in your body language or flaws in your tonality, you're going to get a lot of very negative reactions very quickly because you're asking the girl to make a decision off of limited information. All right, so one of the big things here is you will get more immediate rejections, which is sort of mode one style. The other thing is that because it's related by going and showing your interest right away, a lot of guys, when they do this type of open right away, they'll have a lot of negative interactions. So there's not a lot of sexual tension, and you let her know right away, and she lets you right away. So even if you open fairly direct and you open with a compliment, make sure there's some sort of push-pull and opportunity for teases and disqualifying and show you that you can't have it later on so that you establish some sexual tension. The major mistake that a lot of guys make with it, they go and they compliment the bitch, and they compliment the hoe and compliment the bitch and compliment the hoe, and she puts on a fucking pedestal. She feels great, but she has no fucking reason to sleep with you because she's already been fully validated. Remember, the only validation you ever give is your dick. Putting your dick in her is the only fucking validation you ever give her. Okay, so the pros is the fact that it's direct and you're being masculine, doing man-woman, establishing man-woman interaction, but the cons is you've given away a lot of your power before you build an attachment by get a lot of rejections and sets where you tend to be the one who's fucking pushing. It's a very strong opening style, and it's very good for beginners. And one of the reasons why I recommend it for beginners to do it is, one, it's simple and you can get a result with it quickly. Girls respond to you well. The other reason is that it forces you to get certain elements of your game down. And what it forces you to get down is your tonality. It helps you work on your motherfucking tonality, bitch. And that's why I pay a voice coach $50,000 a month. And I've been working on my voice mostly as a musician. and a talk radio host and sport great sports talk with Petros and Money. For you to work on fucking voice. Now, when you're punctuating a sentence, at the end of a sentence, you put different marks. You can put question marks, exclamation. Communicate different fucking things. And it can communicate a question. Oh, I can't communicate. I fucking hate this thing. ... indicates a lack of finality in a period. It says it is fine. It says it is fine. I am sure of myself, and there's an explanation. An exclamation point is that plus intent. Bitches dropping exclamation points in text a lot. When you think about the punctuation mark in your words to a girl, most guys, they punctuate shit with a question. Trying for rapport, tonality. Everything sounds like a question, even when it's not a fucking question. If I say, hi, my name's G.I., hi, my name's Daddy. What you hear is the question in the voice. Hi, my name's Todd. Hi, my name's CC. Hi, is it okay with you, my name? Is that a good name? Does that offend you, man? You want to be very fucking careful not to do that fucking shit, because that's some low value shit for expression. Now, if you go in, it's almost like you're seeking permission to talk to a girl, you're acting like she should be offended, and you're used to bitches offended. This is some Haley Quinn shit. Like, are we going to text for weeks and never meet in real life? If you give her a negative like reaction, this trying for rapport tonality, question marks at the fucking end of the sentence is introductory fucking game. The next tonality that I want to talk to you about is called the ellipsis, the ... tonality. That's kind of neutral to intermediate. That's kind of like a neutral, just making a statement. That's like, I'm making my statement, I'm sticking to it. It's not a lot of finality. It doesn't demand an answer. This is kind of hard for me to do. It's not great. And it's not a tonality I use a lot in my everyday shit, but I use it as best I can. A lot of people are like, I need to have motherfucking conviction to make a solid fucking point. Make a solid point and give a bitch a chance to fucking disagree with you and have a fucking some sexual tension in the interaction. If you don't make a solid point, you're going to get a lot of lack of response, a lot of clean milquetoast shit. When you go in with a question mark, you're self-protecting because you're using questions to know one can angry. A lot of times I do make statements with my questions because they're so fucking insulting. A lot of times it's very soft, but it just doesn't hit. What's up, bro? Take a look. What's up? How you guys doing?
You don't got no thoughts in here?
Oh, hell no. That nigga came out the shed. You can't give me a ride, bro, down the street, bro?
Hey, what you trying to do? There you go, bye.
You haven't demanded attention. Finally, I want to talk about the other tonalities, which are period and exclamation points. We might even talk about synokis in a fucking minute. A period is just a less strong version of a fucking exclamation point. Now, besides being a phallic symbol, an exclamation point is maybe a little too much. That's a little too much. Hey, what's up? How you doing? That kind of an opener is like if there's exclamation points in your opener. That's just scary and intimidating. That's just intimidating. Over the try hard, and it will get her attention. It will be, but it'll probably scare her. What you want to do is a little less than that. You just want to adjust a period with maybe a hint of exclamation. All right. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, what's up? How you doing? I fucking hate this fucking mic stand. I'm going to invest in some shit. But the reason I do it is to keep it real grunge style. How are you doing is a question. I asked it with a period. Hey, how are you doing? The answer is, how are you doing? How are you doing? The answer is commanded. How are you doing? Fuck that. I never do that raise your voice shit trying to fucking establish. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Ask questions. Ask questions that fucking end up like girls will usually do what's fucking easiest for them, which is just keep being a logical hose all fucking day long. If you use a break-in finality, be final and have a little bit of exclamation mark. Now you're gonna get a question mark and a question. The other one that I really like is a exclamation mark or breaking rapport with a smaller smirk on your face. You say fuck you, hey, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. like Kurt Cobain did in that Live and Loud when they're like, Nirvana sucks, and he goes, then why are you here? There's a little bit of cocky playfulness in your opening, and that's the type of opening that's going to get a response. And now that's a principle that's true for all opening styles, but for opening style where you're going in, you're asking for a positive response right away. If you say, hey, I like you and I want to meet you, that's what you, I'm interested and I'm hoping for a positive response. So you better have your tonality, and to be fair, your body language and well in alignment when you're doing that kind of shit. All right, so now we talked about tonality, body language, and that kind of shit. But you think of body language as an intention of your tonality, which is conveying the same thing: certainty, finality, and a little bit of playfulness, not being serious. Now that you've seen and heard all that, let's think of this one more time. The guy goes up and he goes, I adore the sunglasses. I don't even know what to say. And she's like, ha, ha. And he goes, disqualify, I have to go soon. But who are you? And I'm here for today's super, just roaming around. This chick's not very badass. She's not even giving him a shit test. You're not from the city. You're a tourist. It's just you. Well, I'm with a group. You're like, fuck the group. I'm gonna go down and do my own things. Give the bitch a chance. Give the bitch some swag. If she's just playing very little swag, give her. So you just like fuck the group and like tell her what kind of girl to be. Tell her what kind of girl to be. A lot of these chicks, when you open them up, they'll kind of be middle of the road and not know who the fuck to be, because some of them have most chicks are very insecure and they have very low self-esteem, so they need a guy to come and like, because a lot of you beta male motherfuckers have been slut shaming them and beating them down because you go in with your shit rejections and they're like, I'm sorry, but my pussy's just dry as sandpaper and I can't do nothing with what you gave me. And then they just fucking toxicity and just attack all these poor girls, you know. So a lot of them, by the time a real player opens them up, and you know, it's like, I have to go soon, disqualify her, but who are you? They're fucking kind of beaten down, and they're just like, I don't know, I'm just kind of here, tourist, and my group is over there. And so what you do is you tell the girl what kind of girl to be. And what kind of girl I like to be is a vacation. You're on vacation and you want to have sex soon, girl. And so what you say is, oh, so you were just like, fuck the group and you're zany and all that. And you see this girl and she's like, yes, somebody giving me permission to be cool and fun and giving me a little head start and having some swag of my own. So I can get down to the business of chasing your validation with the confidence that you're not just going to pump and dump me like an alpha and I'm low value female. And you do that and you see these girls just light up because they're just dying to have some fucking fun, Cyndi Lauper style, you know. I've done it hundreds of times. And then just get her talking. She'll start talking over there, so much oxytocin and a fucking brain. You know what I mean? And then just be like, hey, come with me, let's go. And usually this kind of girl would wind up fucking in a broom closet, and they love it. Because when you're a star, they let you. You know, they fucking let you. Yes, sir. All right, so it's time for us to do some fucking push-ups, okay? And it's time for, I want to get like a car battery so I can do something kind of similar to squats. But for a second, you get started on your shit, all right? And I'm going to go do something real quick. All right. You know what I mean? Sweet, you're a good girl. But I'd really like to get these motherfucking car batteries to that. I can just lift them up. That shit just don't seem to be charging right. I don't know. Okay. Let's go get this. Let's get into this pickup. This motherfucking pickup. Let's. We fuck these hoses later. Alright, Sweely. I see what you're fucking saying, sort of. I'm not going to be able to read that shit and respond, but I like that you're here. Thanks for fucking watching. Okay. So, we gotta go. Am I kidding? No, I'm not fucking kidding. Except when I am kidding. But most of the time I'm kidding. But except when I'm not. You know what I mean? But then again, a lot of times I'm a fucking prankster and a joker. You know what I mean? I don't know where I fucking put all that other shit. Alright. Let's see. Okay. Daddy's fucking working hard here, kids. Daddy's fucking working hard because he's passionate about what he does. So, where we gotta go? We gotta go a ways. We gotta go a ways. We know that. Sometimes it's a long haul and you gotta be ready for it, you know? Link in the description to the Patreon and all that shit. You know, when we talk about demonstrations of higher values, what exactly is that value? It's survival and replication is what a lot of people like Mystery says. If you can align yourself with survival and with someone who has survival and replication value for you, you're going to feel a fucking attraction on a biological level. Feeling that has survival and replication value for you. Now, today in the social media veil, a lot of that value is this person going to make me look cool or fly or trill? In my mind, there's more than 5 DHV switches that trigger attraction, but the top 5, in my opinion, are pre-selection, leader of men, protector of loved ones, willingness to emote, and successful risk taker. If you can convey these 5 DHVs in your stories or demo them live, then a woman is going to feel attraction for you. Pre-selection, in my opinion, is also 80% of the way because it presumes the other DHVs, demonstrations of high value. It presumes that you're the leader, man, and protector of loved ones, that you have a willingness to emote, that your emotion circuitry is vulnerable, because they have women around you that are theoretically very good judges of character. So, you want to be seen with women. Now, in fact, going up to a group of fucking motherfuckers you've never met before and having that instant rapport, that's a huge demonstration. That's a high value male behavior. To go in and not give a shit, systematically demonstrate. Hopefully in the first few fucking seconds. That's why you'll see pickup artists do this in open fucking groups with these subtle, slight social violations. Like go up to a fucking group of people. When you look around a room, you look for capturing the highest value center. Use that. It's you. It's you and your friends. Most pickup artists will be able to do what they typically do in a bar. 4 guys will go in, and then they will disperse very rapidly all the room in a room. What they fail to realize is that all that prowling around the room, they're lowering the value. They need to be observed. Like a lot of these point political darts, socially, but also fun, stroll, looking around, you're observing. If you're in a group of people and you're doing that, you're lowering the value of your team, your wingman. You're basically saying, my friends are so fucking interesting, and I'm so fucking horny that I gotta be scanning the room constantly. So what you really want to do is get in that room and just get together in your group, give each other energy, yell at each other, push each other, look at your friends like they're the most fucking interesting motherfuckers in the world. You could do this with guys you don't even know you met on the social forum, and this shit would work. And they gravitate towards you. That's proximity, and that's the simplest fucking thing you could do. Shoulder, initiate, engage, pull them into you.
But you don't have to go run around. Let the bitches come to you. I know you heard that a million times, but it's not about getting targets. It's about having your fun. You should have friends and wingmen. Otherwise, what the fuck? But even if you don't, find some guys who it's mutually beneficial. But what happens with a lot of guys with no game is they're so scared and shitty and like they refuse to join together and join faces because they're so bitter and lonely and fucking dysfunctional. You know? So, I mean, I can remember points in my life where I didn't have much fucking going on and I was trying to get like other guys to join with me and they wouldn't. They wouldn't. And I'd be like, bro, I'm tall, I'm good looking, I'm good with words, and I'm fucking, I got all this value and you don't want to fucking go out and wing with me, motherfucker? But that's how a lot of these fucking loser fucking beta dudes are. They find some fucking insecurity or scarcity mindset that's going to justify not fucking teaming up with somebody, even though they're fucking thirsty as a motherfucker and they want to. And like, you don't want to be around those motherfuckers, but you'd be better off to go in as a group of dudes who look like they're excited to be together. Basically like a group of having gay dudes is a good, but don't act gay, stand in masculine frame. But you know what I mean? A group of dudes who ain't looking for pussy and they're just excited to be vibing with the boys. That's the demonstration of value. But like a lot of pickup artists wind up for whatever reason, various reasons, going out alone a lot. And that can actually really fucking hone your fucking skills. Because you can't always find time for all four guys to get together and do their fucking shit. Not everybody has a fucking clique of trust funders who have unlimited free time to go out and do bottle service all the fucking time. That's a bunch of fucking bullshit. I said we were filming a fucking indie movie. That's her small town computer bitch would interpret it. Whatever, that's her trip. Good job on those push-ups.
I'm doing them. Don't think I am. Last thing I'm gonna do.
Fuck yeah. What the fuck, Okay, good job on those push-ups. Feed each other when you're out with your boys. Have a good time. And sooner or later, if you're talking about things that happened last week, fun stories, and you start to have a great fucking time. But if you go to the bar or club and you're looking for the target, you're very outcome dependent. People sense that, especially women. Rather than running around looking for something of value. Remember, you guys are the highest fucking value here. If you were Brad Pitt and you went out with your friends and just had a weekend movie set with a lot of beautiful models that you fucked that would you be reacting to women for women walking by you? No. You'd be zoned in on George Clooney and Matt Damon and joining the club talking about fucking the intricacies of the peatiness of scotch. Or some shit, just glad you have a break from all these hoes. And just praying that they'd stay up off you. No. The bottom-up approach, out of game, tactic approach, standards. The bottom-down approach is a way of being how to be. And a very important aspect is to truly let go of your outcome. If you're afraid of rupturing your social value, the second you feel that fear, rupture it, wreck the set. The second you feel that fucking fear, surely with 7 billion motherfuckers on the planet, it doesn't fucking matter. So wreck the set and leave the second you feel that fucking fear. It won't matter a minute from now, it won't matter an hour from now. Once you get rid of that fear, turn into a pirate theory. Do social, Billy. Do social violence theory. Do impossible lay theory. It's your place, it's your life, and you'll be more attached if you be your true self. If you let go of your outcome, the women will feel a sense of relief in that you are free of agenda. They can smell it if you're free of agenda. It is the top-down approach. It is your way of being. Billy. Show us your big fucking fat cock. Oh, how did that happen? It doesn't matter. You truly let go of your fucking outcome. That's what social evaluation theory is really all about. You systematically convey to your set that you don't give a fuck. Because hoes are so disposable. Who's disposable? Hoes are. Women love that. They love it when you have that attitude. You let go of your outcome, it's like you don't have a boss. You are truly the outcome. I don't work for anybody, I work with people. But not for somebody. That's an important aspect to deliver systematically sometime in your set. What is the 3-second rule? Well, why do we choose it? It's one of the most fundamental dragons that need to be owned and downloaded into your consciousness as a unique action that you take every time you see a beautiful woman, or even your interactions with others. The 3-second rule is all about you see a person out at the daytime at a bar or club, and within 3 seconds of observing, you approach. You approach. It's that simple. She is about 20 times more intuitive than you. She already saw you looking. They got great recognition. They catch you past your match, get his bride. If she already saw you looking, and you stand there and continuing to look, what is that going to portray about your personality? A timid fucking man. There's a paradox because a high value dude's not going to fucking run over there within 3 seconds, but whatever. It's going to pop, but for the most of us, now you're going to feel more comfortable every second after those 3 seconds that you didn't approach. You're more importantly, you're going to start making excuses and how she's got her friends with her and the guy might be coming back. When you approach within 3 seconds, it looks like you've got a fucking stiff, hard, fucking hard-on dick. And women don't like limp dicks. So it's going to get harder and harder all through the night because you didn't obey the 3-second rule. That 3-second rule, it takes all the thought out of it. If you're a confident guy, why would you hesitate? Somebody sees you of interest, you approach, you speak to them. Groups makes sense. You approach, you obey the 3-second rule. You know what? It's not all that. It's important to get good at the game, but one day when you're sitting at the coffee shop, I'm talking about approaching wherever you are. One day you're going to be sitting at a coffee shop, having your coffee, and somebody's going to walk by. Maybe she's got a nice pair of brown riding boots or whatever, a beige jumper, trousers, whatever. She's just got a nice bounce to her step. Her tits are kind of jiggly. It looks good in bounce. It looks good in her fucking blouse. The nice ankles, the energy around her, her vibe. She's got mad style. Her ass is fucking really filling up that skirt. That's the kind of woman you want to marry. That's when you need the 3-second rule. You need to practice it so fucking much that when the time comes that it does matter, that it is important to you, that you just find yourself being like, wow, your coffee's on the coffee table at Starbucks, but you're on the way across the square to see this girl. Bang, approach. No thought about it. If you don't practice that shit right now, when you run into women that do really fucking interest you, that could be the future fucking wife in your life, your future ex-wife, that's when you fucking feel it the most. And it'll feel it, and it'll wreck your fucking day if you fucking fail to obey the 3-second rule. It'll make you feel about your whole fucking life because you didn't obey the 3-second rule. Now, let's break it down together. Let's get the skills. Let's get the practice. There's about 5 levels of this. The first level is not opening up with girl all by her onesie, which is called a single or lone wolf. A single set, even though a set is the grip. That isn't where we begin. Women of beauty are rarely alone. They're usually in groups. So you're gonna have to work in groups. I love it. I love audiences. But if you don't love it, just get over it, bitch. Now, the second one is merging. Sure, you know how to open up a group. A 3-set, 2/3 of all proserios are the 3-set. But what about merging? It's a forward merge of the group that you met in an effort to demonstrate to them that you have social savvy. And that is a value to people. That is a value. You also want to be able to backwards merge a group into a previously open set so that you can show them that you have friends and you have a social circle that goes along with you. If you meet a girl and you don't get a chance to meet her friends and she doesn't get a chance to meet your friends, at some point, that's all going to have to take place. And that's why we want to get good at merges. It's both basic and advanced. It's basic in that you're going to have to do it tonight, and it's advanced because you have to learn how to open up a 3-set twice. The third level of game is allowing last night's successes to assist you in this night's successes, bringing in the girls you met yesterday into the public gathering today. It sweetens the pot. Pre-selection comes with you. The fourth level of game. This is where you allow last month's successes to assist you with this month's successes. And that's called having a life, boys. Having a social circle. You know, when I go to a new city for the first time, I'm starting from scratch. I have to go through all these different levels of fucking game over the course of this. Me, I'm a competitor. I fucking love it. But some of you never left your whole fucking town and you still got the same fucking friends from kindergarten, you little bitches. The 5th level of the game is hot game. It includes anything technological, any media that can convey your personality so that you have already uploaded your DHVs into a person's head prior to your arrival. That's fucking hot game. You got to start that shit up cold, approach. That's the juicy part. That's the dragon that you must face head fucking on and strike his fucking heart. And then over the course of the days, in the weeks, in the months, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter until you're playing hot game. You know what I mean? You gotta play it like that, boys. You gotta play it like that.
Turn right at Spear Street.
Now, there must come a switching point where you are leading your own life or you're proactive. One thing that Discovery has come up with is the concept of Oscar. And this is a good thing you can learn from Discovery. Oscar is the additional new component to introduce in this set. This is not to change something that's already great and perfect the way it is, but it's to show a bit of confusion that lies between the opening phase and the attraction phase. Here's what typically happens. When people open a set, they get into what we call stimulus material.
Your destination will be on the right.
Stimulus material, stimulus things to say that are designed to increase their acceptance of you and their want to have you in their group. Finger reads, little observations, try to testing gambits that work. But do they work? Do they really work? Here's the difference between something that we call real evolutionary attraction, demonstrations of higher value, higher evolutionary value, that a woman is pre-designed to react as a woman whose DNA is wired from time go by. She cannot control it. And the difference between emotional stimulus. Imagine for a moment that you're still there with your friends and you're still having a life. And this little cute lady comes by. She's got a roll of flowers, and you're having a good time, and you try to turn her back to her because she's lingering. And then she links across, like, hey, what's this scarf? You're going to a funeral? And your buddies think it's fucking funny, and you have a little giggle at about it. And just as you giggle in, she starts turning around on you, and she starts nigging on you. She starts taking the piss out of you, and she's funny in the way she does it. And for 5 minutes long, she stands and shiz this story about this old homeless dude that was chasing her down the street and let it go. And this woman is fucking hilarious, which is funny because most women have no sense of humor whatsoever. And you're enjoying her company, but you want to get at your table at 11 o'clock on the talking to Club Goss Park. You throw in a little disqualification and possibly you take it with you. But no, you don't, because she's stimulating, but you are not attracted to her. And that's exactly what guys do. See, we all know that you should move from stimulus to get to attraction. You need to captivate the group, not just one girl, but the group's attention. That's why we call it captivate. Open, stimulate, captivate. Oscar. Captivate is the mechanism, the process by which you want everyone engaged, because it's not just about this set. It's about what the fucking room sees. Even if this set doesn't go well, even if you're not attracted to anyone in this set, remember, the very fact that everybody's listening to you is a demonstration of what Mystery calls a higher value switch. It's a demonstration of being a fucking leader of men. People are reacting to you versus you reacting to other people. So you have the group around you and you're captivating. And in that moment, you can begin to share your stories, the stories that are aligned ideally with your true life. So there's congruence, demonstrations of value, because you want to have more and more honest signals. You're not going to get that by walking around throwing out comments. But why do we never get to the component of captivating the group? Oscar, open, stimulate, captivate, attract. Why don't we get there? 2 reasons. Number 1 is the buying temperature is addictive. And the reasons it's addictive is, imagine the average guy now do 100 push-ups and do 3 sets of 45-second leg lifts. I love you. You fucking getting the champ. Also, send me every last time you fucking have. Also, you get gambits. Makes you some fun, playful observations to make some fun twists and turns. guy hitting on her. He gives a shit. Because the woman thinks she's the perv. Then you got to yeah. And that's it. You got to fucking try. Mr. Needed to make it work. Next set with. Having this set of work. Just demonstrate a piece selection. Guys are constantly worried about how to win the stories. If you know you're not yeah, something. Hopefully if there's a guy in that set. And you're looking to admit, you don't have to work as hard. You need to get to lock-in, boys. Lock in that set with the other people in the bar scene. They'll think you were with those motherfuckers. Chill, baby, chill. After getting catch, he just decided he needed getting catch. You know what I mean? It's gonna be wild. So what? God, flatter yourself, lady. Lady's really flattering herself. Jesus Christ. That lady's fucking flattering. Yeah, I can say that. That was a girl I hate the rest of you. Yeah, I mean, they did me dirty. You gotta get your head out of continual thinking about the class and how you invested, and get your mind away from ruminating and dwelling on the future, and allow your mind to rest perfectly right in the center of that. Thread the fucking needle. And the right is exactly in front of you right now. I feel a little sore.